Hi, welcome to Hyperfixated Fan. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Hunter.
And today we're going to be talking about Howl's Moving Castle.
This is my absolute favorite movie of all time. I do have a tattoo of Howl and Sophie. I love it so much. I am going to clarify right off the bat, this is specifically about the movie. I have not yet read the book. That is a goal for me very soon. And I know some of the differences between, but not enough to really talk about it comprehensively.
Okay, that's fine.
So this is going to be the movie.
Yes.
The beautiful Studio Ghibli Miyazaki film, Howl's Moving Castle.
Yes.
That I love so dearly.
It's a good movie. I didn't grow up watching any Ghibli films, so I saw this for the first time with you like a year ago or so.
Yeah. I was so excited. I got to share it with her.
It was good.
It's so good. All Ghibli like Miyazaki films are just so pretty to look at.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's pretty. The music is good.
Yeah.
The characters are all. It's so funny. My dad sent a Facebook video to like the family group chat the other day, just being like, "Lol, this is why the internet is good." It's such like a dad thing. And I was just like, "Haha, that's funny." Also, that music's from Howl's Moving Castle. He's like, "Why can you? Cool, I guess." It was like, "These are the. You can't expect me not to know."
Right.
He's like, why would I know these things? Why would I know these things? I was like, you didn't. That's why I told you. Because you needed to know the things that I knew.
Yeah.
But it was like the Merry-Go-Round of Life or whatever it's called. But the main song. And it's just like, it's so delightful. Everyone's so well drawn. They're pretty. It's pretty. It's pretty. Yeah. All Miyazaki is pretty.
Yeah. It is really pretty.
It's so wonderful. And I could honestly, I could take up this whole hour just saying it's pretty, but I promise I'm not going to do that to y'all.
The characters are really good, I'll say that.
They're all so wonderful. Sophie is, I think, a delight.
Sophie's so nice, like a very nice female character.
Yeah, she starts out as just like kind of mousy and like dutiful.
But she's not.
And
like,
then
you learn very quickly.
Yeah, as soon as she becomes old, she's like, well, I guess I'm free to be as rude as I am.
And like honest.
I can be as rude as I am naturally.
Yeah.
Because who's gonna tell off an old woman? No one.
Yeah.
And I love that about her. She's just like so delightfully like slightly bitchy, but in just like the most lovable way.
Yeah, it's good.
And it makes her such a good match for Howl, who is just like
such a drama queen.
Yeah, where she's bitchy, he's a bitch.
Yeah.
And it makes them such a great couple in my eyes.
Yeah.
And then there's little Markle, who's just their son.
Markle's cute.
Little baby Josh Hutcherson.
Is it?
It is!
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I know. God, the voices. We've got like Howl, who is
Christian Bale.
You get to see him like preview the Batman voice in the one like a bird monster dream sequence where he gets all growly and you're like, oh hey Batman, there you are. It's like, oh, you can't even break your own curse, and you're like, oh my god, shut up and go find Rachel, you motherfucker. Get out of here. You're supposed to be Howl this time. It's great. And then when I watched it with my parents not too terribly long ago, I forced them to watch it with me. It's funny, I've managed to do this like 3 separate times because each time I'm like, hey, do you guys want to watch Howl's Moving Castle? And my mom's like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'm like, you definitely have, but if you want to think you haven't, we can watch it again.
Yeah.
But we were watching it, we get to old woman Sophie, and my dad goes, who's this voice? And I'm like, Gene Simmons. And both of them just go dead quiet for a second. They're like, no, that's incorrect. I'm like, no, it's not the Gene Simmons you're thinking of, but it is a woman named Gene Simmons.
That's so
but
funny.
I did let it just sit there for a minute.
Yeah, like the only Gene Simmons I know is from Kiss, right? Yeah.
So yeah, and I was just like,
that's so funny.
But I do, anytime someone like, if I'm going through the voices, it's like, oh yeah, an old Sophie is voiced by Gene Simmons, and they're like, sorry, I don't think that's right.
Just not that Gene Simmons.
It's like, no, it's a woman named Gene Simmons. I promise that's her actual name.
Yeah.
she's phenomenal. And I think anytime you get the little transition between young Sophie and old Sophie, they managed to flow that voice
really
transition really well.
Yeah.
They also managed to transition the faces, like the
Yes.
little transition between her ages
Yes,
really well.
yes.
I have a little, where'd my thing on her age? I only have a couple notes on. I actually made my notes like nice and really organized for once in my life. I did a rewatch. You'll be surprised to know I did another rewatch of Howl's Moving Castle, even though I watched it like a week previously. And I realized just how much of that movie I can quote word for word, so that's super fun for me. But when talking about like her aging and like where she stands at any age at any given point in the movie, and it only really happens, she only gets young again when she is not self-conscious or when she is not concerned about herself.
Okay, interesting.
Which took a while for me to like kind of peg onto that being the reason, because they don't give you that explanation.
No.
In the movie. There's no explanation for it. You just watch her like, oh, she's young, like...
It seemed like a bit random.
Yeah,
like, it was hard to figure out the pattern.
When I first like showed my aunt the movie, and you see like Howl opens the curtain to where Sophie is asleep and she's young again. Yeah. My aunt was just like, well, who was that? I was like, that was Sophie. And she's like, no, it wasn't. I was like, yeah, it is. She's like, but she looked young. I was like, yeah, she is young. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, well... just keep watching the movie. What do you want from me? I'm not going to just hand you the answer. We'll figure it out. There's a pattern here. Keep watching.
Yeah.
But she like fully did not believe me that was Sophie. I think she thought it was... She told me she thought it was another Howl.
Oh,
and that like Howl was seeing himself in a dream. And I was like, no, that's just Sophie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like when she's like not self-conscious... or is like letting go of her self-consciousness, and it's
nice, or
like not focused on herself. So especially when she's asleep, she's not self-conscious, and that sort of thing. And it's really good to see. Like I think it hits hardest that particular point when when Hal moves the house, and now it's the hat shop.
Yeah.
And he's like, here, I made this room just for you. And there's all these presents inside for her. And at first she walks in and she's like, oh my God, like, did he do this for me?
Yeah.
And she's young. And he's like, yeah, I made it just for you. I thought it would be it would perfectly suit you. And then she like...
gets older again.
Yeah, she's like, oh, it can't be that good. It's perfect for an old lady like me, an old cleaning lady like me. And you're just like... you were so close, Sophie. You were so close. And like the same thing happens in the flower fields, and she's like, I know I'm not beautiful. And he's like, you're beautiful, Sophie.
Yeah.
He's like trying so hard to be like, Sophie, I'm begging you to acknowledge how wonderful you are.
Yeah.
I gave you my whole flower garden and my little cottage, and like, I love you. And now you're old again, and I can't even keep up this argument because now there's a war machine in my garden.
Yeah.
And it's just, it hurts my heart, and I love it. And I also think it's funny that, like, literally everyone else is aware of her, like, getting young on occasion, except maybe Markle.
Yeah.
But Sophie doesn't seem to notice at all that she's getting younger.
No.
It doesn't seem to, like, register for her at any point until the like your hair looks like starlight and she's like young at the end. It's like that's when it, or like when she comes out of Hal's memory, like maybe that's when she has recognized that there has been a change.
Yeah.
But like until then she's just like, yes, I'm so old and I love being old. And I'm like, girl, you are 30. You're 30 at this point. Calm down. And I just learning to be confident in who you are and to like not bother with other people's opinions was like such a lesson she needed to learn. And if it took being 90 years old, like, you know, maybe this was good for her.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just love it. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Another thing that I truly adore about this movie, and it's actually my roommate's like least favorite thing in the movie.
Oh, interesting. What is it?
I fully understand this. It's Turnip Head.
Oh, I like Turnip Head.
I love Turnip Head. I love him. The thing about Turnip Head, though, is that, like, at the end, he's just like, hello, it's me, the prince from the neighboring kingdom that you're at war with. Guess I'll leave and go stop the war. Anyway,
So
Sophie,
random.
thanks for being my true love. Sucks that you don't love me. Bye. And then just leaves.
That was so funny. I remember watching it the first time. I just burst out laughing. I was like, what the fuck? It was like so random. I was like, what is happening? It was so funny.
The funniest thing they could have done.
It's so funny.
Oh my god. They never say it in the movie. His name is Justin.
Oh my, Justin Timberlake.
His name is Prince Justin. And he,
That's so funny.
They technically mention him, before the end. In that,
yeah, they're saying like he's missing.
Yeah, like right at the beginning.
Yeah,
when Sophie is going to see her sister.
Yeah,
she like leaves the hat shop, and you see like two guys down the alleyway talking as background noise, and they're like, they say we kidnapped their prince, or like something along those lines, and like that's it. It's just a tiny little background conversation, and then like when the one like ship is coming into harbor in Port Haven. And the airplane flies overhead dropping flyers. There's like pictures of there's some war propaganda.
Oh, for sure.
But like that's it. We get that one mention of they say their prince is missing.
Yeah.
And then like at the end it's like, hello, it's me, the mysterious missing prince. I'm in love with you, Sophie.
So
anyway,
funny.
I'm gonna go home now.
So funny.
It's like, babe, how did you become a scarecrow in the waste?
Yeah, like who cursed you?
I mean, like I'm pretty sure I know who, and I'm pretty sure I know how the war started.
Okay.
So that's like a whole thing. So like, okay, my whole thing on the war. So I'm pretty sure the whole thing is Madame Solomon's fault.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm
that's
pretty
what
sure
I was
the
thinking.
whole war was concocted specifically so she could get her hands on Howl.
Oh, okay.
Now maybe I'm reading too much into it. But she does not seem at all surprised at the end when Heen finally calls her up, the dog.
Yeah.
And it's like, hi, guess what? I'm here. Hello. And she's like, where the fuck have you been?
Yeah.
Why haven't you called me?
Yeah.
You motherfucker. And the dog's like, hi, I'm living my best life. Here's Howl and Sophie. They're great.
Mm-hmm.
There's Calcifer. He's not trapped in a heart anymore.
Yeah.
And there's the prince. And she's like, well, that fucking sucks. Guess I'll call off the war. But she doesn't seem at all surprised to see the prince there.
Yeah, that's true.
So and we know that she can do like nasty little curses.
Yes, she can definitely do that.
So I'm pretty sure she trapped the prince to give an excuse for a war.
Yeah.
We know that she used the war to call in witches and wizards.
Yes.
She's the one who turned all of the country's wizards into her little henge people.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as she saw that Howl no longer had possession of Calcifer, she didn't really have the excuse to like call him in as a danger anymore. And we know that when she talked with Sophie, she's like, he was the most promising student I ever had, and I now can't get to him anymore.
Yeah.
So it seems to me, and again, maybe I'm just, and like, oh, and then she said, like, call up the council or whatever. It's time we end this stupid war.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could have done this at any time.
Mm-hmm.
You could have ended this war at any time, but it's now that you don't have an excuse to go after Howl anymore.
Right.
And that the prince has been freed from his curse.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
She was like definitely like the character that gave me bad vibes.
I have so many things I can say about Madame Solomon, and I hate her.
Very bad vibes. The whole time I was like, what is her deal? Like, what? Like, the weird shit with, like, having, like, blonde hair
her little boy toys? Her little children?
Like, what is that?
Her little matching boys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my thoughts on that.
She
My
definitely-
thoughts on her little boys.
Yeah.
Because I fucking hate this. And I have so
Yeah.
many thoughts on this. So, yes, she has her little matching boys. They all wear the matching uniform. They all have the exact same hairstyle, the exact same hair color. And you know who else has that hairstyle and that
Howl.
hair? Howl.
Yeah, she definitely
he wears
fucked him up.
pastels. He has the exact hair color.
Yeah.
And you know what happens the first time he doesn't have that hairstyle?
He
and hair
freaks
color?
out.
He flips his shit
has a
and calls upon
breakdown.
all the sources of darkness.
Yeah.
Forces of darkness.
Yeah.
And that's when we hear the I see no point in living if I can't be beautiful.
And
Which
you're
we all take as a joke. And we're like, oh,
it's
that's
not
so
a
silly.
joke.
But it's like, no, that's fucking trauma.
Yeah.
What did she do to him?
Exactly.
And like, we know he wasn't there for like she took him on as an apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw how young he was when he met Calcifer.
Yeah.
And she said that when he took on his demon, or
he
like,
was like too
made a
old
deal
or
with a
something?
demon, he never returned to her.
Oh, okay.
So, like, that's how young he was when he managed to, like, get out of her clutches.
Okay.
How much did she do in that little time?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Like,
It's definitely, like, this undercurrent of, like,
like, holy shit, I hate this woman, and I would happily go in there and kill her myself if I could.
Yeah, like, Howl has a bunch of trauma from her.
So much!
It's very bad.
Oh my god, I hate Madame Sullivan with all my heart! Oh god, because yes, we have this evidence of, like, what she did to Howl, because we know that when we see him in the flashback, he's still wearing that uniform. And his hair is cut in the same way, it's just not blonde.
Right.
It's like, presumably still that blue-black. It looks like kind of teal in the lighting. But we see him with the haircut. We see him with the uniform. And then later on, however many fucking years later, blonde, cropped, still wearing all the pastels.
Yep.
And then as soon as he, like, confronts Madame Solomon, we see him hair natural color.
Yep.
We see him, like, it's not, like, styled the same. He
Right.
doesn't need all the, like, glamorous coats and pastel colors. He's just wearing his nice comfy white shirt, plain black pants. He still has his jewelry, but it's, like, nothing spectacular.
Right.
And he's just Howl now. And he looks the happiest he's been.
Yeah, he looks so much better.
And he's just like, oh, we've got a whole new family. We've got new members. It's time to move. Let's make space for everyone. I'm here to socialize, not just running out the door first thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you could have been this all along.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
It's just people teach you, like, your worth depends on your beauty and stuff, and it's like, actually, no, people like me for who I am, so...
Like, I'm actually, like, a cool person, and people like that.
Sometimes,
like,
you just gotta experience that.
And we know that, like, people did like him and appreciate him, or at least the things he did for them, because people were coming to the wizard Jenkins and the wizard Pendragon, and, like, just purchasing his general magic and, like, whatever. And Markle loved him. Markle was training under him and, like, seemed to really love it. And, like, was learning a lot under him in a very normal way. Yeah. And, like, so it was clear that he was doing his best not to pass on what he had learned. For sure. Which is, like, so important to me. Yeah. So I appreciate that so much. But, like, God, it just... When I first recognized that that's what that was, I was just like,
oh no,
my boy.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw her with all her little blonde minions, I was like, oh, that's a red flag.
Right. I was just like, why let them have a different haircut? Yeah. Maybe, like, at least this is weird, really actually. This is, like, super weird.
Very weird.
I don't like it much.
No, not at all.
So yeah, we've got, like, Madame Sullivan running her little boy army, and making them have the world's strictest dress code and like whatever she does to enforce that. Yeah. And then also just starting wars so she can get her hands on the one that got away.
Like control.
And then, like, the king of the country is just, like, a hot mess. He's just a doofus. He's a doofus.
Your stereotypical privileged man who doesn't care about anything except, like, having fun.
Like, it's a very funny scene when we see him, like, Howl's in there, like, yes, I'm the king, and I've actually decided we're not using magic because when we redirect shots away from the castle, then it falls on our citizens, and that's just unfair, and that's bad. And then the actual king comes in, he's like, Sullivan, party boy, let's go. Hey, you made a duplicate of me. That's fucking neat. Anyway, I'm gonna go make some bombs or something. Yeah. Adios. And you're just like,
of course.
God damn it. You're really funny. You shouldn't be in charge of anything, but you're funny. Like, you could be a good hang, probably, if you weren't, like, the king. No, you were just, like, a normal-ass guy.
Yeah, but you're not.
But you're the king, you can't be behaving this way.
You cannot.
God.
But that's a good thing about this movie, too, and I assume the book as well, just, like, the critique of capitalism and, like, government and stuff.
From what I understand, again, haven't read it.
Yeah.
From what I understand, the focus on the war plot, not a thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, when the movie is so anti-war.
It is anti-war.
The book is just like, whatever.
Is the book who is the book written by?
It's
like some like a British person or American person or
I want to say Diana Wynne Jones. Let me double check that because I'm pretty sure it's Diana Wynne Jones. Yes, Diana Wynne Jones, and she is British.
Okay. That's interesting.
It was published in the 80s.
Okay, gotcha. It's just interesting that it doesn't have, like, war as a theme, but then, like, Japan gets a hold of it and is like, actually, we're gonna add this because war sucks. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, Miyazaki was like, I see your story. Love your characters.
Let's make it better.
Have you considered?
Yeah.
Please don't say fuck you to war, actually.
Yeah.
Love and appreciate. Yeah. Always.
I really like that part of the movie, actually. Like, it's kind of in the background, but kind of, like, not.
Yeah. It's very relevant to, like, Howl's character in particular.
And, like, what people do and stuff, so I like it.
I love it so much. I love anything that's, like, anti-war.
For sure.
And I think it is very relevant for, to show Howl's kind of journey as, how much, because we're told how much he is a coward, and then this shows us just how much he has moved on from that.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's really wonderful because we see, like, we know he, like, goes out and occasionally just tries to take out some of the sorcerers on both sides, which I love.
Yeah.
He's like, I know I'm in this country, but have you considered I just take out all armies?
Yeah.
Because I can do that.
It's the conflict itself that's the problem.
Exactly. It's so good.
It is good.
And then, like, also war-wise, we see, like, the efforts of propaganda.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it opens with, like, a parade.
Yeah.
Like, Sophie's going to visit her sister and has to, like, take a back route because there's this giant parade and celebration going on with, like, tanks rolling through the city and
I remember that, watching that.
And in avoiding the main road, she runs into two soldiers who are, like,
creepy.
Yeah, one of those specific. He's like, "Oh, look, your mustache scares all the girls," and the other one says, "Well, I think she's cuter when she's scared."
Which is like,
and it's like, excuse me,
like,
pardon,
make me throw up.
It was. Then of course Howl arrives, and we get his. Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah.
I was looking everywhere for you, which is like.
True.
Very cute as just like an intro, but then also extremely relevant when you realize like he saw Sophie as a child and has been looking for her everywhere since. And it's like, oh, he has been looking everywhere for you, Sophie, because you told him to find you in the future, and he did. Yep. And he's apologizing for taking so long. The only downside to that scene is that after he like sends the soldiers off, he goes, they're not actually so bad. It's like, no, they are that bad, actually.
Yeah.
That's the only downside to that scene. But...
yeah, for sure.
Like, just all the hullabaloo about the soldiers. We see, like, propaganda falling from the sky. And then, like, by the enemy. And then to counter it, the mayor's walking around, like, tossing papers out on the street. And just, like... that whole thing, and then like again Madame Solomon telling her version of what happened to Howl and Calcifer versus like what we see actually happened with them in the flashback, and it's just like so much about truth versus perception versus the official story.
Yeah, I feel like it has a lot of meaning that you have to really pay attention to like evaluate and understand.
Absolutely.
Which is good.
I love it. And then, like, kind of talking about, like, especially Howl's version, Howl and Calcifer's story, when we hear it from Solomon. And this is another thing that's about Solomon that fucking pisses me off. Because when we hear from her about, like, we see the first thing is, like, the Witch of the Waste. Yeah. Climbs up all those fucking stairs. Yeah. Sits down in the seat.
And then gets fucking nuked.
Yeah, we see these, like, little, like... spirit shapes dance around her with the light bulb, and it
You're like, that's not good.
Yeah, we're told...
It takes her power.
God only knows how accurate it is. We're told it removed a demon from her, a demon of greed, and restored her to the age that she actually is without her powers and her demon. Now, we can take her at her word there, and, maybe that's the case. But again, based on everything else we know about Solomon...
Could have just been she took her powers. Yeah.
Who's to say? And then she talks about how she wants to do the same thing to Howl. She wants to either make Howl swear that he will use his magic and his demon for the good of the country, or she will take Calcifer away from him.
Yeah.
And then when Howl does arrive, she does not make an offer to him. She goes straight into the attack.
Yep.
And we see again those same spirits, which look just like Calcifer, surround him and start into whatever ritual it is. And I want to say, if she's so worried about Howl and the Witch of the Waste having these demons, why does she have enough of these spirits to be able to perform these rituals?
Yeah.
Because she's got at least 8 of them to form these circles around both of them. So
yeah.
Hey, Madam Solomon, how come you get to have demons, but no one else can have demons?
She's got the greed one.
I think she does. So, fucking...
Yeah, it's awful.
And then on top of that, she says, Howl's being controlled by a demon that makes him power hungry and selfish and this and that and the other. And it's well, when we saw what happened, we saw Calcifer and his siblings, his fellow spirits, whatever, crashing down to Earth.
Yeah.
And the other ones died. They landed in the water and their sparks went out. They could not survive. So it wasn't Howl trying to make a trade for power. Yeah. He was trying to save someone.
Yeah.
He said, I can give you my heart so you have a vessel to live in. And in return, you, I don't know, help me with my magic sometimes. Yeah. And that's all it is.
It's not that deep. It's not that deep, Sylvan.
It's literally not that deep. His heart wasn't stolen. They help each other. And they're friends. Yeah. And,
people who don't have, friendship can only relate to each other, through, power and control. And I feel like that's her. Yeah. She just can't grasp the concept.
God, she really can't. She can't see it.
Yeah, no.
And, those two are just... They worry about each other.
Yeah.
They take care of each other. When the first time Sophie cleans the house and she cleans out the fireplace and takes a little too long getting wood back on the fireplace for Calcifer, Howl comes in, powers him back up, gets him placed in some wood. He's like, please don't torment my friends. It's very understated, but he knew something was up and he came down to fix it for Calcifer. Yeah. And then Calcifer, of course, is you can't do anything to me because it'll hurt Howl. Yeah. It's not a concern about him. That will hurt Howl. You can't put water on me. Howl will get hurt. Yeah. And it's just, they're very,
they're good
they're
friends.
Connected. Yeah. It's very much I actually labeled it. I have a whole thing here about how different kinds of love are displayed in the movie, and I labeled those two as QPR, queer platonic relationship.
Yeah, for sure,
because they're so closely bound to each other.
Yeah,
and I just
that's a good, for sure, good categorization.
And I love Calcifer. First of all, Billy Crystal did a phenomenal job.
Yes,
as Calcifer.
Billy Crystal's great.
He's just Calcifer for so long is just such a silly little guy.
Yeah.
He's just the silly little guy in the fireplace. I have a little, pillow of him in my living room.
Yeah, it's cute.
And he's just, the silliest little guy. Goofy little grin. And then he's just, oh, you're actually, crazy powerful when we see him, move the house. And then when they, disconnect from the store and they are just the, little mini house trying to, get to Howl.
Yes.
And we see him trying to channel that, and just all the little, and when he eats Sophie's hair and all that. Right. He's just so powerful. And then he's also just such a sweetie. Yeah. He's just a spirit who loves Howl and who loves Sophie. And he's just so attached to this child's heart and just wants to see him grow and live. And I love him.
Yeah, he's cool.
It's just it's just, I love him. I
Yeah.
love Calcifer. He's so much more than he initially appears, and I love characters like that.
Yeah, me too. He's cool. I also really like the dog.
Bean!
He's so cute.
He's so funny.
I love
his little chicken legs.
And his like wheezes like I can't do it, but the wheezes are so cute.
He's so funny.
I'm like, I want this dog.
I love his stupid little chicken legs.
I love him so much.
The fact that he makes Sophie carry him up the stairs.
It's so cute.
And lets her think that he's Howl for so long.
I love him.
And that, like, Sophie threatens to throw him off the plane.
Yeah.
And just, I love it.
I love him so much.
And then he becomes, like, Markle's best friend.
Yeah.
And I realized, I don't remember what rewatch, but now it occurs to me every time, Sophie is so mean to him. Like, at the end, after they think they've killed Calcifer and Howl by throwing water on the heart, and then Sophie is like, she thinks they're dead, she's crying, and Hina's like, hi, your ring is glowing. And then she's like, oh, I can get through the earth. She, like, yanks down some big, heavy part of the building. Yeah. And she almost fully drops it on Heen. Heen manages to make it out of the way. She goes to, like, open the door and just, like, steps through. And Heen is like, that's the void. You just went into the void.
Guess I'm coming.
Fine, I guess I'm coming. And then she, like, goes out into the grass to, like,
she's kind of ignoring him.
Howl and Calcifer. And Heena's like, I will drown in that. And there's just so many and then, like, when she, like, gets on the Howl monster, like, giant leg, giant bird leg, she just gets on and Howl's about to take off. And he's like, what about me?
Yeah.
And jumps on just as they're taking off.
Yeah.
She, like, constantly just forgets that Hina's there and just, like, almost drops things on him. It's just so rude.
He's so cute.
He's such a good dog. I love him.
He is. I like how he just, like, completely, like, changes sides.
I think it's honestly when Sophie tried to, like, carry him up the stairs, he was like, oh,
this is
someone
nice.
will do that for me?
Yeah.
People care? People can care about you?
Yep.
What a concept. Oh my god. And I'm never going back.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
No, that's very real.
I just think it's, I just feel like one person showing kindness to you can,
for sure. Change your life.
Yeah, and that's why when he, like, jumped on the plane with the Witch of the Waste and Howl and Sophie, he just never reported in to Solomon until he's like, damn, look at that, your whole plan foiled. Anyway, I'm sticking it out here.
Yep.
If I found a place or a guy who can make a castle fly, that seems way cooler. Bye.
Yep. That's great.
Heen is truly a delight. Merkel is also wonderful, and he and Heen become besties. I love Merkel because sometimes he's very serious and very like, no, this is how the castle is run, and then sometimes he's just like,
a kid.
I'm a small child, I have a dog, and Sophie, please don't leave, I love you.
Right.
And I think it's a good balance.
It is a good balance.
He never feels like he's written too old or too young.
Right.
It's a really good blend.
For sure.
I think Howl is every time I watch, there's that scene where they make breakfast, right? When Sophie first arrives at the castle. And she starts making breakfast, Howl takes over, they all sit down. Howl doesn't eat a single bite of breakfast.
I know, I noticed that.
It drives me crazy every time. And that's another reason why Sophie is good here, because she will bully him into taking care of himself. Yeah. Starting by cleaning the house, the castle, and then eventually she's going to bully him into being like, no, you still have a child's heart. Don't go spend 4 straight days without sleep. No, you do have to eat your breakfast, sit your ass down, eat those eggs. No, we do have to wash the dishes, Howl. Yep. Howl, no, sit down. Yep. Yeah, she's going to bully him into learning how to take care of himself. Yep. And I
very important.
Be very good for them.
Everyone needs to take care of themselves. PSA.
Hey, everyone, please remember,
eat and sleep.
Eat when you're hungry, sleep when you're tired.
Yes.
Take your meds when you're supposed to take your meds. Hydrate. I don't know, posture check.
Don't push yourself too hard.
Yes.
Take breaks.
Please rest when you need to. I think that's the big ones.
Yeah.
I think we hit them.
Yeah.
I think an interesting this isn't like a major theme, but it is an interesting one, is identity.
For sure.
Like we see Sophie hiding as the cleaning lady.
Yeah.
The old grandma Sophie.
Yeah.
Partially because she knows she can't tell the truth. She can't say, hi, I met young woman you met yesterday, because she can't talk about her curse.
Right.
So she's kind of forced to take on this false identity.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, we have Howl, who has two other, there's like Howl Jenkins Pendragon, who is also the wizard Pendragon and the wizard Jenkins.
Yeah.
And he takes on those identities to, one, hide from Solomon and to help people, and two, which is not discussed in the movie, but I'm pretty sure it's the case in the book, he does it for tax evasion as well.
That wouldn't surprise me.
And a fun fact that I do know from the book, which truly delights me, the name Howl is not Howl. It is Howell.
Howl.
Howl, like a more normal name, and he is Welsh, from our world, and has a way to get to that world where he is a wizard.
That's interesting.
And he's also not a twink, he's on the rugby team.
I don't know. I can't think of Howl in anything other than a twink.
I know, right? That's like
Howl's a twink.
I think he may be in college for some kind of like tech degree, but don't quote me on that.
Interesting.
But yeah, and
that's funny.
The uncle he talked about, who's also a wizard, I think, is like another guy, like is the uncle who taught him how to come to this world.
Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, he's just some Welsh kid who learned how to go to a magic world and became a wizard.
That's a life, man.
Right. So yeah,
cool.
I love it. Super love that.
Yeah.
I think in the movie that's not the case. I think he is truly just a wizard in this world.
Yeah.
But it is just my favorite fun fact.
It is fun.
I will say, a couple of years ago, me and some friends were putting together, this is semi-related, but it is one of my favorite things. We were putting together PowerPoint presentations on, I think it was just characters we'd like to fuck in general.
Okay.
I think it was, and I was like, but guys, like, I'm Arrow Ace, I don't really
want to do that.
And they're like, you know, you do you, like,
adapt it.
Yeah, adapt. Figure out how you want to play it. I was like, okay, so I did it on like a various score of like, it was like, I don't remember even how I really ranked it. It was kind of a matter of like, characters I want to be, characters I want to be friends with, characters that are just hot. And, you know, however, Hal did make it on the list, but one of my major points for him as to why he made the list was that he was a bird monster.
Yeah.
And we made the term at that point, because we were discussing the PowerPoints, not presenting, but just talking about it. And I was talking about this with him just out in public. We were at a restaurant. And we were starting to get a little louder than we probably should have for this particular conversation about, you know, monster fucking. And we were like, maybe, and we noticed this like mom from a booth across the way, like giving us a nasty
no.
And we're like, okay, no, that's fair. We probably shouldn't be talking about like monster fucking this loud. And so we created the term monster aficionado.
Oh, that's a nice one.
And so, yeah, I thought I'd share this with all of you. So for any of my fellow monster fuckers out there, you can join us as monster aficionados.
Yeah. The safer work version.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. Love Howl's monster bird form. It's truly
it's cool.
Beautiful.
It's really cool.
It's so cool. I think all forms of it are like one where he's just like still mostly human and then just like gets his wings, but also the one where he's just like the face is fully lost in the feathers and only has one leg, because like, where'd your other leg go, dude? Where'd it go? Right. It's neat.
It is neat.
Gotta love a cool bird monster.
Yeah.
So many feathers.
Yeah, it's cool.
God, yeah.
Something else that I want to talk about is Sophie's mom, question mark?
God, yeah, her family's neat.
Her family is very messed up.
Their
mom,
so fascinating.
Like, of the information we get is like the mom sucks. At first I was like, is that like her stepmom? But I think it's like her actual mom.
Yeah, because Letty looks exactly like
her. So it's like, oh no.
The two members of the family that we meet are her sister Letty and her mom.
Her sister's good.
I love Letty with all my heart.
Yeah, her sister's good.
The mom fascinates me because the thing is, I do believe that she absolutely loves Sophie with all her heart.
Mm-hmm.
I think she loves her. I think she truly cares for her, and I think in her own way thinks that she like wants to provide for Sophie. The first time we see her is truly just in like passing when she comes back from Kingsbury.
Yeah.
And it's just like, where's Sophie? And Sophie's like, I'm sick, don't come in because I'm actually 90 years old.
Right.
And she's like,
okay,
yeah, you do sound terrible. You want to be left alone? That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Which, like, you know, if you know that your daughter is a more responsible person than you are and they are warning you away, like, you're going to take that advice.
I guess.
And then the second time we see her is when she comes back under orders from Solomon, being blackmailed under threat to her new husband.
Right.
Who we can clearly tell she, like, loves this new husband. When she talks about him, she just talks about how wealthy he is.
Right.
But if it was a matter of just being attracted to his wealth, would she be concerned about his safety?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if he died, she'd just get the money.
Yeah.
So she clearly loves him. But she comes back, she checks in with Sophie. She's not fazed by how old she looks. Yeah. She's just like, wow, what happened? That's crazy. I've missed you. I'm so glad to see you're okay. I love you. Who all is here? Who's that strange lady in your house? Whatever. You're okay. And she shows that she, like, cares for her. I do agree she is, like, clearly irresponsible. She does put her daughter in a situation. I don't know that she even knew it was a dangerous situation. All she knew was she had to drop her purse in the house. Yeah. I don't think she knew it endangered Sophie. She just knew it wasn't necessarily great. Yeah. And it was that or put her husband at risk. Yeah. But she also knows Sophie is probably smarter and more responsible than she is and likely could figure out a way out of it. Yeah. So I don't blame her for that part. Yeah. Like, do I think she is a crazy person? And I pity her? But I think she is an incredibly fascinating person, and I would love to know more about her than the two limited scenes we got. To have more of an opinion than just what I can gather based on. No, for sure. So, but like, I can fully understand disliking her as well. Yeah. Because like, she endangered her daughter. It's mostly, I was more like disliked of the neglect that was there. I mean, yeah, for sure. She like clearly, like, her husband died, their father died, and then she went off to Kingsbury to do something and found a new husband. But we also don't know at what point the father died, whether Sophie was old enough to like just be like, nah, I've got the hat shop, it's fine. So like, I don't know. Yeah, it really just kind of depends at what point she left. So, but yeah, I mean, it's sad the disconnect there. Yeah. But is Sophie how old is Sophie supposed to be? I don't even know. I don't know. Yeah. I usually peg her somewhere like 17. Yeah, so that makes me more concerned and dislike the mom more. She seems to have, because there's another woman that runs the shop who is an older woman, so I just kind of assumed that woman was kind of keeping an eye on things. I'm sure, but it's just, I don't know, I just disagree with the approach of like... That's fair. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying her mom made the best choices involving her children. I'm just saying I think she's a fascinating person who made bad decisions while still loving her children very much. I guess. That they don't necessarily have to go hand in hand. Yeah. So I just disagree with her parenting. Yeah, that's fair. That's fully fair. I just would love to know more about what she like the timelines of things and what I want to know more about what's going on with her. I just feel like a lot of it that I don't like is like Sophie clearly has had to take care of herself for a long time. Yeah. So that makes me think like the mom
didn't do anything. Like, she was not a, like, supportive, like, nurturing person.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's really a very irresponsible person.
Yeah, I just don't like that parentification of a kid. Having to, like, take care of your mom, basically. Sure. I just dislike that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, her mom is very much like a, well, I guess the best word that's coming to mind right now is kind of like ditz.
Yeah.
Kind of ditzy.
Yeah, definitely.
Even Letty feels more of a responsible person.
Yes, 100%.
Than their mom.
100%.
So sometimes people are just like that. And, you know, that's just how their brain works. And you can't really change that. So I think it's just a matter of they recognize that and they just kind of went to work with what they could. And
I guess.
So, not to say that that's necessarily right, but that's just kind of what it was. And
I just hope the dad did a better job, which I feel like he did.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it. The very brief conversation they had about it, she said, like, you know, father loved the hat shop and I'm happy to keep the work up and whatever.
Right.
They didn't have anything negative to say about it, but it sounds like because he was there, which is also where the home was.
Yeah, exactly.
So it sounds like, you know, he was there and around and whatever.
Agree.
So, but
it's just a crazy relationship to have with your mom. I'm like, I could never.
Honestly, I'm just super impressed that, like, her mom recognized her as she looked that much older. Which I guess at that point she was maybe like 40s or something, but like recognized her as that much older.
Yeah.
And then didn't bat an eye. She was like, oh my God. Because Sophie was like, Mom. And she was like, Sophie. And then just like threw herself at her and hugged her and was like, you look so old. Anyway, that's weird. Where have you been? And just like fully embraced her, like with whatever happened to Sophie. Which is, I think, honestly pretty impressive.
I don't know, that concerns me. Like, you don't have any more questions, you don't care anymore about that. Like, that's how I interpret that. Like, you don't care.
I mean, to be fair, she moved through like 3 or 4 questions pretty quick, and then it was just like, I mean, you're Sophie and you don't seem upset, so I guess it's fine.
Yeah.
If it was a problem, you'd tell me.
I guess.
So, you know, sometimes it's just let bygones be bygones. Which is, you know, sometimes that's how it goes. Different kinds of love in the movie.
Okay.
Because I think they really kind of cover the whole
spectrum.
Which I sort of love. We talked about, at least in my best interpretation, the queer platonic relationship between Howl and Calcifer. Because it is an extremely intimate relationship that they have, and I adore it. I think it's definitely not like a romantic or anything like that, in my opinion. And I wouldn't call it familial either. So that's I think the best.
Yeah, I like that term.
Give to that one
for sure.
We do see familial love. Sophie with her family, and then we also see it with like Sophie and Markle. Like especially in the scene like after Sophie's mom leaves, and Markle's just like, she said you could go live with her. Don't leave, Sophie. We're a family, and it's really cute. We also cover romantic love.
Yep.
Especially between like Sophie and Howl.
Right.
Justin feels it. Turnip Head feels it for Sophie.
The Witch of the Waste feels it for Howl.
Yes. I don't know.
It's more
obsession than romantic, but yeah, I mean, I guess it probably started there.
Yeah.
And then just kind of spiraled, as it were. But yes, that would be romantic in nature.
Yeah.
And then we see, like, platonic, which I would say would be Calcifer and Sophie.
Yeah.
Because those two are, like, definitely get a connection.
Yeah.
Especially because of Howl and Calcifer's relationship. And she's, like, just diving right into the middle of that, as it were. And we just kind of cover a lot of ground, like kind of everywhere in this movie.
Yeah, it's good.
And nothing is shown as more or less.
That's a good point.
Like Sophie's love for Calcifer is just as relevant to her love for Howl.
Yeah.
Because when she's looking at Calcifer, that she's already splashed water on.
Yeah, she's very
just
concerned.
A little blue fire. She's like, if I put you back in Howl's chest, what happens to you?
Yeah.
And he's like, it should be okay if it's you, because it didn't hurt either. Like, we're both still here after that. It's love for both of us that kept us alive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like,
it's really good.
It's so good,
because you don't get like, you know, like Disney movies usually highlight romantic love over everything, so it's definitely nice to have it equalized.
And then like, it made me think of like, and then Sophie, as she's like, after Howl first wakes up, he's got his heart back, and she says, a heart is a heavy burden. Which, first of all, love that line, just in general.
Yeah, that's a great line.
It's so good. Because, like,
to be human.
Fuck, it's true. But it also just, like, she says that, and, like, an hour ago, she thought she killed her friend and the man she loved.
Yeah.
And, like, she knows exactly what she means when she says that.
Yeah.
Like, she felt that burden.
Yep.
So much, like, 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And she's like, haha, I'm giving this back to you.
Yeah.
You're getting that. I had to deal with it, now so do you, babe.
Yep. It reminds me of this one Mary Shelley quote that I definitely want to find really fast, because it's like very much similar.
Hell yeah. Love Mary Shelley.
It's, life, although it may only be an accumulation of anguish, is dear to me, and I will defend it.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of that. It's like,
same vibes.
I
just
love
fancier language.
It's great.
Oh, that's so good.
I just really like that message a lot of like, this is what it means to be alive, and like, despite all the pain and suffering that comes with that, it's worth it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And then like, one thing that it kind of occurred to me to think about, we know Howl traded his heart to a demon or to a spirit or whatever. He calls himself a demon, they call him a demon, but I'm wondering if like what the actual word for it is, if it's closer to like a yokai or something. Who's to say? I don't know Japanese, so I've never watched the Japanese version, and I probably will never watch the Japanese version. Not because I hate it, but because I like all the voices in the English one. Yeah. But Howl trades his heart to a demon, but even with his heart gone, he still loved, and he loved very fiercely. He loved Calcifer, he loved Sophie, he loved the whole family. And now that he has his heart back, like, how much more is he going to be able to love? Like, how much more capable of love is he going to be now that he has his heart back? It's still the heart of a child. Like, and it's only going to grow from here.
Yeah.
So I just, like, the man is so capable of love.
I would also add on to that, like, self-love, like, taking care of yourself. Like, maybe that's why he struggles with that.
Oh, fuck.
So that's like there's more hope now because of that.
He's got people to help support him in that. Now he's got the heart all back in there for him. And, he needs it.
Yep.
And he's got people there to make sure it happens. Because they love him, and they will make sure he loves himself.
Yep.
And it's interesting because, like, he definitely... he can be so self-absorbed and very self-focused a lot of the time, but that's a very different thing from like actual self-love.
It definitely is.
So it'll be very different to see how they not to see, because we won't see, because the movie's over, there's not going to be a sequel, but to like actually have him like blend the two and acknowledge it.
And I would also say, like, on the psychological side, because I always have to add that.
Oh, please do. I love it.
Like narcissism and like arrogance and stuff, like that's actually a function of lower self-esteem, because you're trying to convince yourself that you have all of these things.
That makes sense.
Versus like if you have like higher self-esteem, it's like you don't even need to do all of that because it's already there for you.
Yeah, that tracks. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Another thing that I like think about, or that I think I saw about, the book, and it may not be the first one, it might be it's just at some point in the series.
Okay.
Sophie needs help with something. Like she's in danger maybe, and she sends word to Howl, and he like fucking leaves the castle, goes straight to help her.
Of course.
And everyone in the castle, the whole gang, is just like, oh my god, he loves her.
Yeah.
He, like, really loves her.
He, like, dropped everything.
He didn't even put on makeup before he left. He loves her.
Yeah.
And I just love it. They're like, that's the sign.
Yep.
He didn't bother with the makeup first. He just left.
That's so real.
I adore that. It's like, that's how you know.
That is how you know. Like, you care about someone else's well-being more than, like, what you got going on.
I love it so much.
Yeah. I love Howl. He's, like, so queer, and
he is.
It's great.
Oh my god, there was a comic I saw online a hot minute ago. I'm gonna have to try and track it down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Sophie going through Howl's, like, jewelry box, and she finds some earrings, and so she calls through the house. She's like, Howl, can I wear these clip-ons? And you see him, like, excitedly bounding down the stairs. He's like, yes! And then he, like, rounds the corner, sees the earrings, and he goes, oh, you said clip-ons. And it's just like, the disappointment on his face is so devastating. It's so funny. And she's just like, what are you talking about? I'm gonna have to try and find that again, because it just makes my day every time I see it.
It's so great.
Oh, you said clip-ons.
Oh, they're great.
I love it so much.
I hope you find that so you can
I'll send
it in the Discord.
I will find it. I've got to find it now. But it's just, the man just so, he's just so queer.
It's great. It's really great.
And I love it for him.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It is very nice.
I love it. I love everyone's dynamics in it, because, like, everyone is a little bitchy.
Yeah.
Like, they're all the good guys, and they're all doing good things.
Yeah.
But they're also all just a little mean to each other.
Which I do appreciate. Like, you can be mean and be frustrated and irritated.
Exactly. Like, Sophie is, like, kind of rude, especially when she's old. She's, like, ready to, she, like, threatens to throw the Witch of the Waste and Heen off the plane.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. Like, she just can be very rude. And Howl, of course, is Howl. And, like, just openly insults Sophie to her face. Like, when he's sending her off to go meet with Solomon, and she puts on her hat from her hat shop, and he's like, you're gonna wear the hat after I worked so hard to make your dress all pretty? It's like, bud, she's doing this for you. You do not have to insult her right now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they're both so rude. And then, like,
It's
the Witch
great.
of the Waste is over here like, oh, you're in love.
Yeah.
I would eat a man's heart right now if I could. And you're like, girl, take a nap.
But I like that because it's like, to be in love or, like, to have a good relationship with someone means being able to be bitchy to each other and, like, know that, like, that's not gonna do anything.
It's truly
you have the
great.
security.
I love it.
It's great.
They're all, like, just rude and mean to each other, but like, they all understand each other.
Yeah.
And so there's the
They're
allowance and the
to
room
each other.
for that.
Yeah.
It's
great.
delightful.
It's very
and
nice.
I just know Markle's gonna grow up to be just as bitchy. And
for sure.
Can't wait. Oh, I need to go read more Howl's fanfic now. And the actual books. I just need to read the fucking books. Because although I'm pretty sure Markle's not a character in the books. I think they have a kid later in the series.
Interesting.
But I don't think it's Markle. I think they just made up Markle for the book.
Reading the book is gonna feel like weird fan fiction.
I know! It's gonna be so different! And so I'm semi-scared to read it, but, like, I want to because it's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
I have it on my Kindle something. Even, but
oh, nice.
I'm in the middle of my NDZS reread, and then I will read it after that.
Okay.
That's my plan.
After you finish the MDCS, we need to talk about it.
Yes, absolutely.
I've been waiting to talk about it.
I stopped reading for, like, long enough that I was like, no, I don't even remember where I am. I gotta start over.
No.
But it's fine. I'm at the Knee Clan compound right now, and then it's fine.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm speeding through as fast as I
I'm
can.
also re-watching it right now.
And I want to do a rewatch so
because I'm showing Kylie it, so...
Can I steal your DVDs after you're done
Yes,
watching
please
with Kylie?
steal them, yes.
Because I don't have Netflix, so I can't watch it.
You can actually steal them now because I don't need them right now, so... Yeah.
I may do that.
It's actually
I
also...
can't watch it. I'm so desperately working on my cross stitch.
Yeah.
I can't watch things with subtitles.
That's fair.
No, I'll wait till after Christmas because that's when we'll have the cross stitch done.
That's fair, but it's
thank
also on Viki if you have Viki. It's on that.
That's what the app is. I keep
Yeah.
meaning to text you and ask about that. We're doing a podcast. Sorry, guys.
Get an insight into our...
This is our life right now. Anyway, MGCS, The Untamed, episode coming...
It's coming at some point.
Eventually. Maybe November or something.
Probably, maybe December.
October will be like
I'm doing...
spooky stuff.
We are reserving October for spooky season.
We're gonna do so much
I am
spooky shit.
so pumped. I love horror movies.
Yeah. See, dude, I have been watching so much horror shit. But we're
I
gonna
love
hit the big faves first.
I think...
We gotta save some other horror shit for like years to come.
I don't want to say what we're gonna do because we need to solidify it.
Yeah, we need to solidify plans, but we will
It'll
do
be
horror.
good. It'll be
will
good.
Be horror.
I'm so excited for
Love
it.
horror.
So
it'll be great. It'll be a good time.
But let us know what y'all think about Howl's Moving Castle. If you also like it a lot. If you grew up watching it or not.
Yeah, tell me all your opinions on Howl. Let me know if you're also a monster aficionado. Like, we get you. Correction, I get you.
I'm like vampire aficionado. It's like the only
That's
monster
like
for
the
me.
coward's monster.
Yo, I am a coward when it comes to like fucking.
And yes, you can be ace and still a monster fucker.
You
It's
can.
fine.
You can.
God, I hope this isn't the episode my mother chooses to listen to.
It's fine.
My mom was like, can I listen to your stuff? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And then I was like, oh, wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fine.
My
It's
family
fine.
keeps asking me, I'm like, listen
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, I've sent her links to episodes. I don't know if she's listened to a single one.
It's like, whatever.
It's fine.
Let us know if you are listening to it.
Let me know if you're my mom and you're listening to this episode.
And we just like to hear from whoever is listening.
Let us know if you have ideas for future eps. Like,
Yeah,
whatever. Tell
yeah.
us. Come say hi. Like, I don't know. Say things.
Yeah, like I've definitely added a show to my personal watch list because someone suggested it to me through this. So
yeah,
it's gonna happen at some point. It's just we gotta get through a lot of other
we just have
stuff.
so many things on the list, guys.
It's going
we'll
on
get
the
there
list.
eventually.
It is on the list. So yes, but hope y'all have a good time and thanks for listening.
Bye.